Good afternoon, my name's Rob Pollard. I'm going to demonstrate how units wheel about in Ancient Armies. Ancient Armies uses a very realistic wheeling system, far more realistic than most other war games, and I'll take you through that now. My apologies for the fan noise on my computer. There's something wrong with it and it's vibrating quite a lot. Right, let's run our Ancient Armies. We're going to pick a test scenario for wheel. There we go. I'm going to turn off line of sight because I actually want to show you all the units. Right, that's now loaded up. Now the first aspect of wheeling that Ancient Armies does properly is when you get a unit to wheel, it wheels around the proper corner. A lot of war games on the market, when you wheel a unit around, it always turns from its centre point. That's unrealistic because in real life it'd be very difficult for a formation of men to actually turn that way. Instead, units tend to turn from one of their corners, which I'll show you now. But the other thing I want to demonstrate, again, other war games get this wrong, is in reality, a unit can only wheel as fast as the men or horses on its outer corner. Now, a lot of war games that are out at the moment, if you wheel two units of different sizes at the same angle, on these other war games, both the units will complete their turn at the same time, and that's quite unrealistic because what's actually happening in the larger unit, the men on the outside are literally on some kind of motorized transport in order to deliver the kind of turn speeds you see in these games. But in Ancient Armies, it calculates the appropriate speed for a wheeling turn based on the unit size. And to prove that, I'm going to get these two units to turn through 90 degrees, and in theory the maniple should make its turn a lot quicker than the Macedonian phalanx. Both of these two are actually to scale. I spent a bit of time getting the right sizes in. So let's issue them both with a wheel order. Now, there are two types of wheel in Ancient Armies. There's a wheel and a fast wheel. Fast wheel obviously means you're turning faster, but, and this is a downside, your unit will take a lot more damage to its cohesion. So if you want to try and limit damage to cohesion, you'll go for standard wheels. We're going to go for standard wheels for this particular demonstration. And note how, dependent on which way I turn, it sets the turn axis to the left or the right. So now let's get the Macedonian unit to do a 90-degree turn. That's right, 90. And let's get the Roman maniple to also do a 90-degree turn. That's right, 90 degrees there. What we'll do then, we'll kick this off for a turn which is 30 seconds in length and see how they both get on. So here we go. They're both making their turn. Now, with the Macedonian unit, these chaps on the end here are people, and they can only move at a person's speed. And it's the same with the maniple, but because the maniple's a lot shorter in length, it means it gets to complete its turn a lot faster. So these outside edges are both moving at the same speed, but because the maniple is shorter, it can get to do its turn a lot faster because the actual circumference of the turn is shorter than the Macedonian. So after 30 seconds, the Roman maniple's almost completed its 90-degree turn, whereas the Macedonian phalanx still has a long way to go. So if we run that for another 30 seconds, you see the maniple is going to finish its turn way before the Macedonian phalanx does. There you go, it's finished. And the Macedonian phalanx is still going. And this is one of the reasons why the Romans moved away from a phalanx formation into their maniple formations, or what they used to call a jointed phalanx, because it effectively gives the unit greater manoeuvrability. So after a minute, the Roman maniples finish its turn, but the Macedonian phalanx still has a long way to go. And as far as I'm aware, only Ancient Armies models that kind of fidelity for turns. So let's go and do something a bit more complicated. Let's show what the symbology looks like when we're issuing multiple orders. So let's get him to charge, and then we'll get him to wheel about. In fact, let's get him to a fast wheel. Now note, for fast wheel, it's a dashed arrow. And part of the symbology is that you'll get the turn from the appropriate side that's turning, plus it leaves the pivot point. Now, when you actually issue the wheel order, you do get additional symbology, the arrow and the line for the angle. The reason why I decided to do that is 9 times out of 10, when you turn a unit, you'll want to turn it to target something. Like for instance, this Macedonian phalanx, I want him to come after this maniple. Now without this arrow, it's very difficult to make the alignment properly, whereas a player, what I need to do is pass the arrow through the maniple, and then the angle that I'm targeting here will be guaranteed to take my phalanx to that maniple. Of course, once the order is issued, we don't really need to leave the arrow there, because it's only there to help with the issuing of the order. So let's give him some orders and get him to move forward a bit. Maybe do a fast wheel that way. Maybe charge that way. And perhaps we'll get him to wheel back. I'll get this unit here to charge. Do a fast wheel that way. Move forward. Fast wheel. Move forward. And then charge. So the idea of the way I design the symbology is, hopefully it's easy to read. So as a player, I can see exactly the route this particular unit's going to take and where it's going to pivot on. Let's do one more as well, and then we'll get them all to move at the same time. We can do a fast wheel that way. Charge. And then we'll get him to wheel about that way. And do one more charge. So okay, we've got a fair amount of orders in the system there. Let's see how it all works. Let's go and hit play. There you go. So all the units are doing their funky stuff. So that there's still some more coding to do on Ancient Armies with regard to wheeling, but the essential ingredients, as it were, are now in the code. And I think Ancient Armies has some of the most realistic turn mechanics of any current game, simply because it models the correct corner that the turn's being made from. It doesn't assume the turns from the centre of the unit, which is actually very difficult to do in real life, and it takes the unit size into account and the speed of the entities that are in that unit. It also takes other things into account, like for instance, if I had a chariot here, a chariot has a maximum turn rate simply because it's a fixed axle device, and this system models that as well. So again, lots of realism on the turns, and the reason why I've done that is because again, I want to try and give players the best simulated experience of ancient warfare, and to do that, I need to be able to simulate these turns properly. Right, these infantry units are going to take a bit of time, so I'm going to up the time compression to times 10, and we'll run it. Here we go. So even at times 10 speed, he's taking a bit of time. And there we go. So that's it. That's the demonstration for unit wheeling. I hope you found it informative. Thank you for watching. Bye.